Okay, good morning students. In the last class, we have discussed about the wells and springs, and also we have discussed about the oceans and the rivers. You can see the oceans and the rivers, these are the main source in the earth system. These are main source in the earth system. See students, next one is the pond. It is what? Ponds. See students, what is ponds? An artificial man-made low-level portions of land to store the water is called pond. It is called pond. Dear students, in the last class we have discussed about the rivers. The river water is the product of rainwater. River water is the product of rainwater. You can see that another one, there is a oceans. The ocean water is the biggest water source in the earth system. Biggest water source in the earth system. Yes or no? So these type will be, you can see the another one, that is springs. Yesterday we understand the water is stored under the earth system. Okay, the water that is stored under the earth crust, the tank, that will be come outside now due to the high pressure. That is known as what? You can see in the last class. But now see, that is the ponds. The ponds is also to provide the water to the human beings and all types of organisms. Dear students, an artificial. Which one? The ponds is artificial. Artificial, it means what? It is a man-made. It is a man-made. See students, an artificial man-made low-level portions of a land to store the water is called ponds. The ocean is a natural things. The river is also natural things. It means it is made by nature. But the ponds are made by man. Dear students, an artificial. It is an artificial man-made. Which one? The ponds. The ponds are the artificial man-made and low-level portions of land. Low-level portions of land to store the water. To store the water. It is called. Listen to me one more time. So what is a pond? What is pond? The pond is an artificial man-made. It is an artificial man-made low-level portions of land to store the water. It is a man-made and artificial. The low-level portions of land is store the water. Store the water. He is called ponds. He is called what? Ponds. See, it's an artificial man-made and low-level portions of land is stored. Water is called ponds. But see students, its capacity of water storage, its capacity, the pond's capacity of water storage is very less. Is less. So compared with the dams and compared with the reservoirs, the pond's capacity is very less. The water storage capacity is very less. Clear all of it? Next one. It is constructed. Which one? The dam. It is, that is ponds. The ponds constructed in such a way, that rainwater which drains from high levels will be stored here. Dear students, it is constructed, the ponds is constructed in such a way, that rainwater which drains from higher level from higher level will be stored here. Stored here. Where? In the water. In the ponds. Okay. So this is about the ponds. And let's see the water. The rainwater reaches the pond. The rainwater reaches the pond by running away, by running through small streams. Through the small streams. Dear students, okay, next one is the reservoirs. Reservoirs. Dear students, the dams are constructed. The dams are constructed across the rivers to store the water throughout the years. Throughout the years. The reservoirs, it means the dams are constructed. The dams are constructed across the rivers. Across the rivers to store the water throughout the years. To store the water throughout the rivers. Afterwards, the dams release the water to the rivers. Through the rivers, the water will be flow. Listen to me. The reservoirs means the dams are constructed. Dams are constructed across the rivers. Across the rivers to store the water throughout the year. Throughout the year. Next, and to supply the water places where there is securities and also multi-purpose projects. Which places need water, in which place the water is necessary for agriculture field or for water for drinking purpose. That places the water is supplied with the help of the dams, with the help of the reservoirs through the rivers or canal. Through the canals and the rivers. Dear students, dams are constructed. Dams are constructed across the rivers. Across the rivers to store the water. To store the water throughout the year. Throughout the year and to supply the water. And to supply the water to places where there is scarcity. Where there is scarcity and also for the multi-purpose projects. And also multi-purpose projects. So this type will be, you can see the reservoirs. Next, this capable for the storing of water. This capable of storing water is a large scale. Large scale. And also they are called reservoirs. What do you mean by reservoirs? The reservoirs is nothing but is a capable storing of water. Capable storing of water in a large scale. In a large scale. And they are called reservoirs. For example, you can see the large number of waters is stored in a particular places. These are constructed across the rivers. It means the river water flows on one place to another place. The time it will be constructed across the river. The time the river water will be stored in that particular place. That is known as what? Reservoirs. That is known as what? Reservoirs. So this time we understand about the ponds and reservoirs. Next, the biological importance of water. The biological importance of water. Dear students, biological importance of water. So what are the biological importance of water? See, the plants and animals have 70% of water in their bodies. You can take any kinds of plants, any kinds of animals, human beings, whatever it may be. It all contains 70% of water in the bodies. 70% of water in the bodies. Yes, the plants and animals have. The plants and animals have 70% of water. How much? 70% of water in their bodies. In their bodies. And next, the origin of every life took a place in the water. The origin of every life took place in the water. Next, the water is essential. The water is essential for the biological activities. For the biological activities of plants and animals. The plants and the animals. It means the water is necessary to the all types of the living organisms. You can take any kinds of living organisms, with all types of living organisms, plants, animals, birds, all living organisms are depends on plant water. Depends on water. The water is a very important and natural resources in the earth system. That is a very important and natural resources in the earth system. Okay, the water is required for the growth of the plants. The water is required for the growth of the plants. The water is very essential for the growth of the plants because the water will provide energy to the all types of the living organisms, and water will provide the several minerals to the all types of the plants. So this type of the water is very important things to the plants as well as animals as well as human beings. Okay. Next, the green plants need water for the production of their fruits. You can see by the process of photosynthesis, the plants can prepare their own food materials with the help of the raw materials, with the help of the raw components. That is the first one, that is the water. So without water, we can't imagine our living system. Especially the plants can prepare their own food materials with the help of water also. The water is very essential in that process. Which process? Photosynthesis process. It is then make higher process. Okay. The plants, especially which type of the plants? Green plants, it need the water. The green plants need the water for the production of their foods. For the production of their foods. You can take any kinds of organisms. Human beings, we also want food. Yes or no? Animals, birds. So these types of each and every animals, each and every organisms depends on water. Depends on water. So this type of you can see that biological importance of water. Biological importance of water. Okay. I will continue next class. Thank you.